What up, world? I mean, y'all already know who this is. Y'all know what this is. It's your partner, your folk, your cousin on your daddy side. Mr. 63 divided by 9 times 4 divided by 2 minus 8 plus 1. And I am. Anyway, before we get started, if I'm not asking too much, I'm going to ask you guys to click that little red square in the bottom, man. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I drop new content. Okay, now, we did video 1, introduction. We did video 2, which was the preliminary hearing. And I know people like, why you call it preliminary hearing? Was you going to court? Nah, it's just that I've been exposed to that. I've been through that. And so I just felt that was a good way to start this out. Okay, now today, what we pretty much going to talk about is, remember I spoke about LLCs and a whole bunch of things. Now today, I'm going to really just run down the steps that I took, not in any particular order, right? But the steps that I took in order to transition myself from just that thought to a business, to a company, hoping to successfully transition into a household name. All right. Now, the steps that I took, like I say, not in any particular order. I got my LLC. I got my tax ID number. I had a domain even prior to that. I got my trademark. And then I started trying to find ways to market what I was doing. Okay. Now, for anybody who's new to the channel or just new to trying to do the things that I just spoke about. Now, a LLC, which is, you can do this a multitude of ways. Now, the LLC is going to be an LLC, but you can either go through LegalZoom if you don't want to do the legwork. You can go to your courthouse and do it yourself. And with COVID being the way it is, you can do it electronically. And I know you can in Georgia, which I'm pretty sure that you can do it in a multitude of other states, right? So, LLC, EIN number should be done right there together. See, LLC is statewide. EIN is federal. A EIN is basically your social security number for your business. Follow me? A EIN is basically your social security number for your business. Now, that is going to be needed in order for you to open up accounts and to do a multitude of other things that you're going to be trying to do with your business, with your LLC. But what I would personally recommend, now, it may make sense to some people, may not. And if it doesn't make sense, please expound or give me a logical exposition as to why it doesn't and help me understand something, right? If what I'm saying doesn't make sense. I would very much so recommend that you get your domain name right along that same time frame. Follow me? And I think because the domain is going to be so important for people who's trying to build a business or a brand that's going to touch people in more than just the area that you're currently residing in terms of people in other states who see your product. Hey, you got a website. Hey, you got a website. Hey, how can I find your product? That domain is going to be very, very essential, vitally essential to your growth in terms of the base that you're trying or hoping to build, right? I would recommend that highly. Check to see what that domain. Go to GoDaddy. Like I said, I refer GoDaddy because that's the route that I took. Now, if it's another route that you can possibly take that you feel may work better for you, by all means do so. Like I say, I chose GoDaddy because I was turned on to that by a friend. I chose it. Like how easy the process was for me to go through, purchase my domain. And anybody who asks me, that's what I recommend. And the few people that I have recommended it to, they did it instantly. So salute to them. But your LLC, your EIN number, I would really, really try to get that domain along the same time. That way, all the names lined up. So with me, it's Team 7 Company, right? Team 7 and Company, actually. Like my LLC is Team 7 and Company. All right? My domain is Team 7 Company. My EIN is attached to Team 7 and Company. And the reason being is because I didn't want to not go ahead and get my domain, and then I try to go register this domain and it's unavailable. Now I got to pick something else or remotely close to lead you to my platform where you can get my items, my merch, my whatever the case may be. So I would highly recommend that you get your domain name. Try to get a .com if at all possible. Get that LLC. Either go to your courthouse and ask them. When you go into the courthouse, you can go to. I went through the Secretary of State, which I did it virtually. Not virtually, my bad. I apologize, but electronically. Now, I received all my information within 2 weeks, and once you get that control number from your LLC, you'll be able to utilize that to then advance to getting your EIN. Domain name. Trying to give you a rough estimate on what you're going to spend. If you got $200 right now, $250, you could get that LLC. If you're doing it electronically or going to the courthouse yourself. Your EIN is free. IRS.gov. Once you get there, don't let nobody tell you that you got to pay $50 and $60. I'm not knocking their hustle, but to anybody who's on my channel and listen to what I have to say, don't take that route. Get it for free. Straight from the government. Your domain name, you can buy it 2 years for I think $30. So you're looking your EIN free, your LLC $120 give or take, depending on where you are and depending on the taxes that each state charge on an individual basis, and your domain $30. So you look at, I'd just say $200. You can have your LLC, get your EIN, and also your domain name. Now, there's other things that you're going to do as well, but this is where I would start if I were you guys. Now, you maybe have a logo created like you see there with mine, Team Serving the Company. Now, I have a trademark on that logo that you see right there on the wall, right there. And also, I am exactly who I said I am. I own that as well. Now, some people may feel like trademarking each individual thing that you're doing may not be necessary. Some people feel like they don't need to trademark anything. If that works for you, I'm perfectly okay with that. But to the people who follow me and listen to me, I have to give you the steps that I've taken, the things that I've done, and how I feel it's protected me and worked for me, right? Those first three things is what I would recommend, my apologies, that you do in the inception of it all. LLC, EIN, and a domain name. Domain name is basically saying whatever your company is, whoopdewhoop.com. The name of your company is whoopdewhoop. So you want to go whoopdewhoop.com to see if it's available. Now it's available. Go ahead and purchase that domain. Now you know that when the site comes into play, it's nothing for you to go back to GoDaddy.com, look up under the DNS settings, and forward that domain to whatever that site may be. You follow me? You already have the LLC in place. You have your tax ID number, your EIN, which means employee identification number. You have that, which is, again, is like your Social Security to your business number. Social Security number to your business. Excuse me. And now, after those steps, it'll be the checking account and a few other things that you'll do. But I would recommend from the inception that you do these things, because I think that is going to be essentially vital to you building your business and building it off some kind of stable platform in terms of you knowing that you're covered on the state level. EIN, you're covered on a federal level. You know, having that domain, anybody in the world can hit that domain once it's forwarded to a site, and now they're able to contact you, get in touch with your platform, see your platform, be invited to your platform, and cover a multitude of other grounds, right? That, to me, should be first. That's what I would recommend. If it's at all feasible for you, that's what I would do. Now, once you've done that, LLC, tax ID, domain. Now, you got the domain. You can sit to the side with it. You're good to go for how many ever years you purchased it for. Now, you're going to take that LLC with the control number, and you're going to take that EIN number, and you're going to go to a bank. And you're going to tell them that you wish to open a business account. Now, what I preferably would do, if I could at all, is use a Navy Federal or a credit union. For one, when it comes time to get loans and credit cards, the interest rates are a lot better than it would be had you went through maybe a Capital One. Now, I'm not downplaying Capital One and their ability to be a great provider for your business or your brand, but I'm telling you what I did again. I chose Navy Federal because I was able to get a decent credit card with a decent credit limit for my company with a very nice interest rate. This allowed me to do what I needed to do for my business without affecting my personal finances. I was able to utilize what they've given me to purchase inventory, purchase items, whether it's a gadget, whether it's whatever I'm using or utilizing or think that I may need for my business. I'm able to utilize that avenue to do so. Now, that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But firstly and foremostly, I know that ain't even a word, but guess what? We're going to make one up today. First and foremost, I will get that LLC, that EIN, and they should be done right there together. Don't wait forever to get to EIN. You know, as soon as you get that control number, go ahead and get your EIN. And please, do not neglect getting your domain name. Now, some people wait till after they get the LLC, the EIN, the checking account number, everything else, and then go back and try to get the domain. And guess what? It's not available anymore because someone has either heard you speak about it or somebody else across the world is thinking along the same lines, coming from the same vantage point in there. Hey, I need to get this. Now they have it. It's unavailable for you. Maybe they'll sell it to you, but at a sizable multiple, if at all. So when you're thinking LLC, what the name is your business, you need to also be thinking about, is this domain available? Let me get this as well. The EIN is not going to be as difficult because it's going to be attached to your LLC. But that domain name is very, very important, especially if you're speaking of building your brand, building your company to where you can eventually be doing multiple amounts of millions on an annual basis. These are things that need to be considered. The checking account is going to come because it's going to be attached to your LLC and the EIN. So I wouldn't put too much thought into that in terms of worrying about if somebody's going to go get a company account in your name and they're not the sole proprietor, which I wouldn't do sole proprietorship, but the owner or the controlling officer in the LLC, right? That's going to be attached to that LLC and that EIN. So I wouldn't put too much energy into that in terms of worrying about if somebody's going to get it. But that name with that LLC and that name with that domain need to be pretty much in sync. And if at all possible, closely gotten together as possible. So that's one thing that I feel is very, very essential. And for me, I took those steps because I thought it was conducive to what I was trying to do long term. The grounds I was trying to cover, not just currently today, but future tense as well. So I made sure that I'd done all of that. But then again, like I say, I didn't do it in any particular order. I had a domain 2 years before I had an LLC. Technically, maybe 3 to 4 years. Because I didn't understand all the aspects of having an LLC, or should I got an S corp, or should I got a corporation. I didn't know all of this, and I'm still learning currently. I'm learning more about S corps and thinking I may go that way. But as I get more information, of course I'll share this information with you guys. But I said, and I stand on LLC, EIN, and please check on your domain. Once you cover that ground, those other steps are going to fall in place like dominoes. So what I wish for you guys to do, for anyone who follow me, and doing what I'm doing, if you're able to go do it tomorrow. Hey, today's Wednesday. Well, before day, Wednesday. If you're able to go do it tomorrow, think about it. You take $200 to go buy some Jordans they release 13 times. Cover yourself. Protect yourself. Go get your business license. Go get your EIN. Go get your website, domain rather. Later you're going to get a Shopify or whatever kind of store that you choose to get, but that domain is going to come into play because it's going to allow you to forward it to whoever you choose to use to build your site or do your site through. Trust me on this one. I feel 100% confident that if you do it closely together, you shouldn't have a problem getting all those names, whatever your name is with the business, being able to get that same name with the domain, unless it's just something just extremely regular, like sunglasses.com, for example. Quite naturally, you're not the only person who's trying to sell sunglasses, so you need to be very strategic, but also very creative, if you will, and consider that when you're creating a name for your brand. Create something that's gravitational. Create something that people can gravitate toward and be like, you know what? I can rock with this. This is different. It's contrary to most. It's inversely constructed. You follow where I'm going? But again, we ain't gonna talk your head off today. We're gonna conclude this video, but I'm glad you guys stopped by, number one. And for all the subscribers, thank you for being a subscriber to the channel. Thank you for checking out my content. Thank you for being open to what I have to say, what I have to share. I'm extremely grateful for that. Like, I really, really am. And look into those three things first. Now, some other people may tell you some other things. I don't know. Again, I'm only sharing my experience, what I've been exposed to, showing you things from my vantage point, but you have your own vantage point, which in turn allows you to see things a multitude of ways. So, check into those things. Next week, we're going to conclude with another video. We're going to go on off into the checking account and go off into the trademark and then going off into a multitude of other things. And you hear me say multitude a lot because it is a multitude of things that we must do in order to get those things done, to cover those steps from thought to business, from business to company, from company, hopefully successfully transition into a household name. And with that, your boy signing off. It's 63 divided by 9 times 4 divided by 2 minus 8 plus 1. And I am gone.